any variety of soup, be it your ofe oha, ofe onugbu, begiri, ewedu, or your miyan kuka to get your through unripe plantain flour. Contact us at 12 Olowera Isheri Road by First Welder Bus Stop off Omole Phase 2, Olowera, Lagos, Nigeria, or call 070-6663-8213 or 081-6397-4447. Distributors are needed nationwide.
Powerful looks command respect, they say. The perfect body, the perfect grooming, and ultimately the perfect skin. Looks, style, and grooming makes the ultimate man. I've found a ridiculously easy way to make my skin always feel epic. My name is Neo. I found Blemiviv, and now my skin finally makes sense.
Mama, you're coming to Lagos. Banga. Baby, Mama just called me now. She's coming to see you. She asked me to tell you to make banga soup for her. And she's close to the house. Oh.
How do you expect me to prepare banga in just few minutes?
I have a solution for you.
Really?
You no sabi cook the banga. You no go enter my family.
Pali banga is used in making other exotic dishes such as banga jollof rice, banga efo riro, banga asaro or yam porridge, banga egusi, and many more. Pali banga is easy to open, no preservatives, no cholesterol, and no coloring. Approved by NAFDAC. Manufactured by Pali Agro Products Limited. Available in all leading stores and supermarkets nationwide.
Pali banga, natural palm fruit extracts for tasty African cuisine.
Most people don't understand the magic of the perfect skin, the allure of a well-pampered skin. We bounce from skincare products to skincare products, from spa to spa. Looking for that ideal solution. I found the solution. And it's Blemiviv Skincare and Spa. My name is Neo, and I'm proud to be a part of the Blemiviv family.
Cleaners Limited. Professional dry cleaners. Best in dry cleaning and laundry services that meets the needs of our consumers. Yeah, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Yeah. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Yeah, for clean wash and quick delivery. Yeah, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. For clean wash and quick delivery. Ooh.
Swift Dry Cleaners. Clean wash, quick delivery.
Oh boy, winning you was so easy.
I just couldn't stand those your powerful shots.
Every day presents us with new opportunities, new choices, and of course, the chance to make the day better than the day before. And this is why we are glad that you have made us your choice, your number one choice when it comes to information, education, entertainment, and all that you need to start your day. Welcome to iBrand Daybreak. My name is Omobolanle Adeshi, and Samson is right here with me. Hello, Samson.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
It's good to be with you again.
Good to be here. It's a Thursday morning, and we're glad that, of course, the weekend is closed.
And the rains didn't, act up this time around.
Yes.
2 days ago, it wasn't funny getting down to work.
And a miracle happened yesterday. Ask me what it is.
I'm all ears, sure.
So I finally got fuel yesterday.
after how many hours of queue?
No, I did. The queues are subsiding actually, and that is the miracle, because when I got to, it was at Beja, and when I got to the particular filling station, I noticed there was a few cars, and there were just about 3 cars before me, so I hurried and joined the queue.
You filled the tank that you bought extra?
No, I didn't buy extra because I didn't have a jerrycan with me. But I joined the queue, and it was without hassles. It was within 30 minutes. I was able to fill my tank, and I didn't have to pay extra, because some people complained about having to, bribe the attendant or pay extra. It was still 165 naira. Yes.
That's great. That's great.
The interesting thing also is that now that the few queues have subsided, it has also reduced traffic. While I was coming to work this morning, it wasn't really difficult because the traffic had subsided. The traffic is usually an extension of the few queues.
Apparently.
But right now, I think people are now getting fused. But I don't think it's the same in other states, because there are still talks about few queues and traffic, gridlock in different places like Abuja. And Abuja
you can rest assured the neighboring states, Nasarawa, Niger State, and all of that. You definitely have those gridlocks there. I think it's good. I mean, we need to ease it off. The worry with queues filling for fuel is that more often than not, they park by the roadsides. Sometimes you even have double parking, and that restricts the movement of, cars.
Some people even leave their cars there and just
overnight
go about their businesses,
just to ensure that they get fuel and all. Again, we hope that, the scarcity of a thing,
has been
dissolves as quickly as possible.
Permanently dealt with.
Hopefully. And one more thing, I hope that independent marketers as well won't hold products.
Well, they're still complaining about the fact that selling it at 165 is not sustainable.
It's not profitable
because of all the money they have to put in the capital, the money they get it from the depots, the amount they pay for diesel to transport the petrol to their different filling stations, that it's not sustainable, that the average cost they can sell it would be at 185 if they are to go by the current realities in the market.
And that's why I'm surprised they said you got at 165. I know certain filling stations...
Did you hear what I said? I said it was a miracle.
Indeed, because certain filling stations still sell as at 180 this morning,
even in Nigeria. Sorry.
I know you have to go to the abroad.
I was going to say, even in Lagos, there are some filling stations sell at 180. Even black marketers sell 200 and above. And it is not, it's something So most times, most of these things have their repercussions. For instance, black marketers would now begin to sell fuels, and many times you get bad fuel.
Bad fuels that
which will eventually destroy cars, destroy generators, and everything has consequences. So we have to just avoid it totally.
Totally. Hopefully NNPC, is on top of all of these, and we do not have this. We're just in June, 6 months, halfway. I mean, June hasn't even ended.
Two long sessions of fuel scarcity,
and that's not good for the
and
nation.
The year is still halfway.
We talk about all of these things, all the time, that the trickle-down effect of, the fuel scarcity, it goes beyond gridlock or folks being stranded in terms of
businesses shutting down.
Businesses are affected.
Transportation is high.
Those who make use of these products in terms of commercial or domestic use are also left, with no alternative. I mean, you can't just suddenly change from a generator that uses, fuel to that will use diesel, or that a car that uses fuel to one that will use diesel.
Let's not even talk about gas, because a lot of people are already going back to using charcoal to cook, using firewood.
Especially when you want to cook beans.
It's a really precarious situation. People are going through hell.
It's terrible. It's terrible. Again, it's all about the demand and supply pull here and there. You look at the cost of living ridiculously high. The standard of living is low.
How did we go from gas 12 kg selling for about 3,500 naira to now
10,
over 8,000 naira, 10,000 naira?
It's ridiculous, really. You look at the whole system. I think we need a total change, not just of personnel now in terms of those who had, these various agencies or ministries, but more importantly, we need new ideas, new policies that will bring about, not just the structural change, but also a change that
I think what we need is people, because policies don't work anymore. In Nigeria, nobody goes by policies. They just have the policies. It works for those who don't have the power to fight the policy. Well, but you see some people who are the big wigs in the society, they don't go by these policies. The policies don't work for them. It works for the poor man who doesn't have the right or the wherewithal to fight them.
That's because over time, we've created a system that does not respect the rule that everyone is equal before the law.
Which is why we need people who can build strong systems.
Exactly. If we had respected that rule, which is the golden rule in the democratic system, that no one is above the law, not even the president, then you would understand that everyone will be treated by the same rules. But what you now have is the same game, same different players, but you now have different rules for different players.
They're just changing shirts.
And more often than not, we tend to shift goalposts just to suit a certain player. It's ridiculous. I really hope that we get things right, really. As you've said, it's difficult for the average man to even feed. I mean, you want to cook. Well, maybe because we've not been buying, kerosene for some time. But I'm sure if you go find out how much a liter or so...
Kerosene is also high right now. It's deregulated also.
Exactly. I can't remember last time I bought one. But I'm sure if we, have a study, a comparative study of a liter of kerosene for maybe January this year to what it sells now, then you can rest assured that there would have also been an increase. So if the average man can afford, gas, can afford, to also use the basic and, mundial ways of cooking in terms of kerosene and all, how do they feed? How do they survive?
It is really sad. We hope that the federal government and all relevant stakeholders do something about this. But let's run you through some of the things to expect for today, Samson.
Yes, well, on the show today, you will definitely keep you abreast of, latest happenings across the globe. And Samuel Lokata is standing by to do that. We'll still keep you informed when it comes to the top stories making our dailies this morning. And you can rest assured we have guests on standby to address issues that concern you and I, not just as Nigerians, but also as humans. We'll keep you informed about sports as well, and we'll get the reactions of Nigerians within the social space and set you on course for the day, talking about that inspiring note with our quote of the day. This is iBrand Daybreak. Once again, welcome to the show. And Samuel Lokata is standing by right about now to keep us abreast of what's happening globally.
Hello and welcome. Thank you, Samson. Hello and welcome to News Update. Here are the top stories we're reporting at this hour. Let's go on a short break now, and we'll be right back just after this time out.
The cosmetics and personal care industry globally generates an estimated annual turnover of around $400 billion over the last 20 years. In Nigeria, the beauty and personal care market could reach 3.2 billion euros by 2021, making Nigeria the rising star in sub-Saharan Africa. Products for hair and body care are predominant on the beauty market in sub-Saharan Africa, where face products and makeup remain marginal but have strong potential. Africa's largest economy clearly has a lot to offer. The Nigerian beauty and personal care market is currently worth more than $1.25 billion at retail and is forecast to reach more than $1.31 billion next year, according to Euromonitor International. It includes a wide range of products from skincare items to makeup and beauty items. These are items that predominantly appeal to women and men alike to purchase beauty products, even though men are interested in cosmetics. Nigeria has emerged as the investment destinations of choice to international firms aiming to capture the beauty and personal care market in the continent. The photography business is a very competitive industry.
Welcome back. Still on the news update. To attend the 26th Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, President Muhammadu Buhari left Abuja yesterday for Kigali, the capital of Rwanda. The event, which began on June 20th and will last through June 26th, will center on success and prosperity of the more than 2 billion people who make up the Commonwealth states, according to a statement released in Abuja by the Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Mr. Femi Adesina. At CHOGM 2022, the President will take part in discussions centered on advancement and prosperity of the more than 2 billion people living in the 54 independent countries that make up the Commonwealth in Africa, Asia, the Americas, Europe, and the Pacific. The recent attack in Owo, Ondo State, and some areas of Kaduna State were referred to as organized and politically motivated criminal outrages by the presidency on Wednesday. This was in line with its promise to avoid being sidetracked by such intrigues. The presidency claimed that the attacks were planned to pit different parts of the nation against one another in a statement released on Wednesday and signed by Garba Shehu, the senior special assistant to the president on media and publicity. In the statement titled "Recent Spate of Church Attacks Unacceptable," it was stated that it is clear that there is a design by wicked people to put the country under religious stress, from the tragedy in Owo 2 weeks ago that shook our nation to its very core, to the killings and kidnappings that just this weekend in Kaduna State. According to President Muhammadu Buhari, Nigeria is wonderful because of its variety and religious freedom. Nigeria's strength comes from its diversity. Because of this, Nigeria's enemy want to put us against one another in order to destroy Nigeria. On the 81st anniversary of Germany's invasion of the Soviet Union, about 150 volunteers lit 50,000 candles early on Wednesday in St. Petersburg. The project included a number of symbolic representations of numerous sites, such as the Naval Triumphant Arch and the Admiralty. The candles were lit at midnight, and it took roughly an hour, with neighborhood people watching from behind the fence for fire safety. On June 23, 1941, Nazi Germany began Operation Barbaros, a military invasion of the Soviet Union. A government official announced on Thursday that the Japanese government intends to help Afghanistan after an earthquake there claimed at least 1,000 lives. CIG Kihara, the Deputy Chief Cabinet Secretary, stated during a routine news conference that the government was planning action to promptly give required support in addition to evacuating the situation to understand local requirements. And that's our offer for the news on the news today at this hour. Many thanks for watching. It's back to you now, Samson.
Thank you very much. We're going to a very short break now. When we return, it will be time to review those stories making our dailies this morning.
Powerful looks command respect, they say. The perfect body, the perfect grooming, and ultimately the perfect skin. Looks, style, and grooming makes the ultimate man. Found a ridiculously easy way to make my skin always feel epic. My name is Neo. I found Blemiviv, and now my skin finally makes sense.
The cosmetics and personal care industry globally generates an estimated annual turnover of around $400 billion over the last 20 years. In Nigeria, the beauty and personal care market could reach 3.2 billion euros by 2021, making Nigeria the rising star in sub-Saharan Africa. Products for hair and body care are predominant on the beauty market in sub-Saharan Africa, where face products and makeup remain marginal but have strong potential. Africa's largest economy clearly has a lot to offer. The Nigerian beauty and personal care market is currently worth more than $1.25 billion at retail and is forecast to reach more than $1.31 billion next year, according to Euromonitor International. It includes a wide range of products from skincare items to makeup and beauty items. These are items that predominantly appeal to women and men alike to purchase beauty products, even though men are interested in cosmetics. Nigeria has emerged as the investment destinations of choice to international firms aiming to capture the beauty and personal care market in the country.
Are you a business owner looking for the right exposure to attract massive clients to your brand? The long search is definitely over. SME Hub allows you to showcase your products and services to a wide range of viewers and buyers nationwide. For further inquiries, please call Alero on 081-323-43262, or you can send an email to alero.ogudere@ibrandtv.com. Grow your brand and boost your business on SME Hub, live on iBrand TV, where business comes first.
The future of cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrencies continue to draw a lot of attention from investors, entrepreneurs, regulators, and the general public. Many recent public discussions of cryptocurrencies have been triggered by the substantial changes in their prices, claims that the market for cryptocurrencies is a bubble without any fundamental value, and also concerns about evasion of regulatory and legal oversight. These concerns have led to calls for increased regulation or even a total ban. Further debates concern inter alia, the classification of cryptocurrencies as commodities, money, or something else, the potential development of cryptocurrency derivatives and of credit contracts in cryptocurrency, the use of initial coin offerings (ICO), employing cryptocurrency technology to finance startup initiatives, and the issue of digital currencies by central banks employing cryptocurrency technologies. Market size and opportunities. The total market capitalization of the 100 largest cryptocurrencies is reported to exceed the equivalent of 330 billion euros globally by early 2018. The total market capitalization of all cryptocurrencies together in that period peaked at an even higher 728 billion US dollars, dropping just 3 weeks later to approximately 360 billion US dollars. In any event, there are compelling reasons why cryptocurrencies should be under more scrutiny by regulators and supervisors. The threat of price volatility, speculative trading, hack attacks, money laundering and terrorist financing all call for stricter regulation. Cryptocurrency has provided many avenues to financial freedom for many people. As the technology improves, the industry goes from strength to strength. Blockchain technology is now being used to enhance almost every single sector. From gaming to cross-border payments, crypto is now involved. Whilst Bitcoin and Ethereum cement themselves as the two powerhouses of the crypto world, many new exciting projects aim to aid real-world problems. Analysts estimate that the global cryptocurrency market will more than triple by 2030, hitting a valuation of nearly $5 billion. Whether they want to buy into it or not, investors, businesses, and brands cannot ignore the rising tide of crypto for long. As a matter of fact, the reward system for cryptocurrency creates an incentive to leverage on computing power, increasing the consumption of energy. For example, note that computational efforts of miners are costly, mainly because the proof-of-work calculations are power-intensive, consuming more than 173 megawatts of electricity continuously.
Most people don't understand the magic of a perfect skin, the allure of a well-pampered skin. We bounce from skincare products to skincare products, from spa to spa. Looking for that ideal solution. I found the solution. And it's Blemiville Skincare and Spa. My name is Neil, and I'm proud to be a part of the Blemiville family.
All right, thank you so much for joining us. Now, let's run you through the stories that made it to the front pages of our national dailies. We'll begin with the Business Day newspaper, and this story here, travelers' summer fares double on airlines trapped funds. And also, Colombia election holds lessons for Nigeria. What lessons are there? Pick up the Business Day newspaper to read details of that. And also, numbers disprove Buhari's claim on better Nigeria. That story is on page 2 of the Business Day newspaper. Also, Nigeria's OPEC quota shortfall raises fiscal time bombs worries. And that's coming from the Business Day newspaper on the page 2 also. FMDQ exchange trains over 2,600 stakeholders to trade derivatives. And that's on page 28 of the Business Day newspaper.
Up next is the Punch paper. The headline here reads, 20 senators set to dump APC party's majority under threat. That's on page 2 of the Punch paper. Stand first to the story. Angry lawmakers protest loss of tickets. 13 senators ditch ruling party. Adamu summons emergency meeting. Says no party leader won't be worried. You also have It's a welcome development. We expect more to join us, PDP declares. All of these you can find on page 2 of the Punch paper. To the masthead of the paper, you have Senate moves to resolve Supreme Court crisis. NBA demands accountability. More of that on page 13. To education matters on page 15. Sano Nasu extends strike. Federal government hopeful on ASO. I have support for Obi like NSAS movement, and this is according to Victor Ume. Pick up a copy of the Punch to find out more of that. At the top strip on page 19 precisely, you have fuel scarcity. Marketers rally against NNPC's monopoly, and to a bit of business there. You have telcos shake off seeming losses, recover 16 million subscribers. Talking about telecommunications rather. NAFDAC workers begin strike over allowances. That's also on page 8 of the Punch paper. To the bottom strip now, you have on page 13, Owo Cardinal Church attacks politically motivated. And this is according to the presidency. On pages 4 and 5, Lagos Ekiti men bag life imprisonment for raping minors. And MAN, that's the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, LCCI economist, counter Buhari's claims on economy. All of that on page 21. On page 5, flood sweeps away plane Ondo Pupil. Police launch search. That's a sad one there. On page 14, federal government shares 56.8 billion naira to states for teachers training. And on pages 4 and 5, you have brave Ondo man fights robber attempting to rape wife, grabs gun. The last story making the Punch paper this morning, 23 children, 143 others stranded. Oh, I'll take that again, please. 23 children, 143 other stranded Nigerians returned from Libya, and more of that on page 13 of the Punch paper.
Next is This Day newspaper with some more stories. And the biggest one here, Adamu meets senator, says he is worried by gale of defections. And riders, senators list conditions to halt action. 2 more lawmakers quit their parties. 22 others planning to defect soon. Fani Kayode raises the alarm. PDP may soon form majority in upper chamber, Aduda boasts. INEC has powers to reject Lawan. Akpabio Falano declares. And also coming from the top strip of the paper, Moman, federal government must deregulate downstream to address fuel supply challenges. Don't sell fuel above 165 naira per litre. Ipman, at it up, 1 members, appoint consultants to recover debt. Nigeria's problem is distribution, not supply, Pengensan declares. And also Senate probes Shell over joint venture breach. $600 million refund to the federal government. That's on page 5 of This Day newspaper. Federal government is also saying many states would have collapsed but for bailouts from current administration on page 6 of This Day newspaper. And also Buhari, that's the president, saying we won't let anyone put Nigeria under unnecessary religious stress. With the riders, says wicked people behind the recent attacks on churches. Vows perpetrators will be brought to justice. Urges Nigerians to come together in prayer against coward attacks. And also CBN restates commitment to meet legitimate forex demand. That's on page 1 of This Day newspaper. Well, that's about some of the stories you'd find on the front page of This Day newspaper this morning.
The final paper we'll be reviewing this morning is that of Daily Trust. The headline here reads, military moves to flush out soldiers with divided loyalty. That's the top story there, and it's on page 4. You have Stand First story says deployment of unmotivated personnel counterproductive. Directive will further dampen officers' morale. That's according to a war veteran. And move misguided, ill-advised, and that's also according to a retired colonel. Governors, monarchs sought to influence permanent secretary's appointment, and that's according to the HOCSF. You also have INEC agreed to extend voter registration deadline, and that's according to the Reps Committee Chair. That's on page 14. On page 36, family seeks justice for field attendants killed by Air Force officer. To the bottom strip of the paper on page 6, you have kidnapped ex-Anambra lawmaker beheaded after 15 million naira ransom paid. And that's a sad one there. To Health Matters on page 38, cholera kills 74 persons in 30 states within 6 months. That's really, really worrisome. NGX sustains gain, capitalization up by 153 billion naira. Talking about a bit of business news on page 23 of the Daily Trust. And the final story here reads, 20 of our mates still in Sambisa, and this is according to rescued Chibok girls That story is on page 35 of the Daily Trust paper. And those are about the papers, we'll be reviewing this morning. And Bola, I think about 3 of the papers had to do with, politics and APC, the threat of losing the majority.
Who would have thought that the giant party, this party at the center, would be at the brink, at this time, especially now that the 2023 elections are approaching. You'd expect that the fact that they're at the center and they have all things working for them, they have the political will, they can, use money, they can use all the forces at their disposal to get elections. But right now, it's looking like it's not the same. Because right now, they're saying about 20 senators are about to defect from the party. What's going on?
Well, it's not surprising. Remember, senators also have their ambitions. And I'm sure majority of them didn't expect the primaries to go the way it went. Issues of statutory delegates not being able to vote and all of that. And the way the primaries went, you had even the House of Representatives Speaker, Femi Gbajabiamila, also complained that his house has lost several members who can't, come back for another term as a result of the way the primaries were conducted. Remember, there was a time direct primaries was the issue about the Electoral Act. And right here in Lagos, in December last year, 2021 precisely, you had the Speaker state that the House would go back when they resume plenary to, take that out and work on it and all of that. So it's a fall-off from the primaries. That's what we're seeing now. Beyond the primaries.
But it looks like they were okay with the decision, especially with the fact that it was their political leader who won the ticket.
But you weren't expecting, again, as I said, it's about the fallout. Again, it's one thing to have, the political leader emerge. It's another thing for the personal interest of these lawmakers, be it, the House of Reps or the Senate. And what we're seeing now is the trickle-down effect of those decisions. Remember, even when the president signed, he still told the, National Assembly that they needed to, amend the Electoral Act he just signed. And you also had the Senate say the same thing even after the primaries because it didn't work out well for them. Femi Gbajabiamila also said the same thing. That's the Speaker. So that those who think that the APC as it is right now cannot, fulfill their personal ambitions. So they will definitely have to decamp.
Look at someone like Ahmad Lawan, whose fate is dancing in the balance. The fact that he's no longer the Senate president.
Well, in terms of the Yobe North, the central district, or constituency rather that it represents, Mashina is not ready to step down, and I like how it's playing out.
Yes, he said, "Well, I was elected, so I have a right to sit."
I like how it's playing out. Sometimes all in the name of loyalty, you have all of these games being played. For example, Bala Mohammed, the governor of Bauchi, he contested for the presidential ticket for PDP, didn't win. His immediate secretary to the state government was the one who won the primaries. Now, 6 days later, he stepped down so that the governor can, again, I like what
and also the fact that President Muhammad Buhari has now sent the names of 7 members of new ministers yes, of his cabinet. He has just 7 years.
About 10 months, thereabouts on
I don't know what's going on.
May 29, June,
yeah, but I'm not saying that he has just a few months to leave office, and now he has sent the names of new ministers to replace those who left on the reason of wanting to contest the primaries and all of that. Look at someone like Amechi. He's no longer in office. And I don't know. It's looking very interesting, the game towards 2023.
But there would have been compromises as well. You can be rest assured. It's all about, again, as they say, no permanent friend, no permanent
there were talks, insinuations that they were going to be recalled. People like Amechi, people like, what's his name now? Ogbonaya Ono and Akpabio, the rest of them. There were talks or insinuations that they would be recalled by the president. Because he has a soft spot for someone like Amechi. Yes. So you would expect that maybe he would consider or reconsider or try to but there's a constitution to be followed.
Although that won't also stop him from renominating
if he wants
to. Exactly. We saw that with Ibrahim Magu as EFCC chair. He kept on nominating Magu even when the Senate on that book.
And now that Ibrahim Magu has a case, still has a case, and now he's retiring. I don't understand the dynamics of all this. It looks like the law only works for those who the law should work for.
The game is the game. The man is still innocent until proven guilty.
But he has a case.
He has a case, but the court has to be, has to decide. So let's wait for the entire proceedings. Again, even if a court of a lower jurisdiction, decides, you can decide to take it up all the way to Supreme Court and all. Let's see how that pans out. I think for the APC, this is a huge crisis they're dealing with. We talked about these things, that it's not just about the national leadership crisis they had. Even before the national convention, where the president wielded his power in terms of consensus and all, you had several states with different factions and congresses. Remember, even in Lagos State at some point, before Adeniran, decamped to PDP, known as Jandor, it was also able to run parallel congresses across the 20 local government areas. So different states had issues that were not resolved. They went down to the national convention. The president was able to, wield his ground, and that works. But now the fallout of that is that those who still hold grievances from the convention, that those who hold grievances from the primaries, not just at national level, but at different states.
That man, who was the man that cried that day?
Segun Dada, youth leader.
Was it Segun Dada?
Yeah, Segun Dada for the national convention.
The one that cried, well, because when he was going to withdraw, it wasn't Segun Dada. I can't remember his name right now. I think it was Dayo Israel.
Dayo Israel was the favored candidate. Segun Dada was the one who cried when he had to step down for Dayo Israel. But again, that's for the youth leader position.
Tears were shed.
Yeah. Again, so all of those things, it's a trickle-down effect. Now, yes, the focus was on the presidential flag bearer who would emerge and all, but there were also primaries at different states. For example, a state like, Ogun, where you have the sitting governor or the incumbent, as well as his predecessor, being at loggerheads, and they have different camps. That's different factions within the APC already. So all of these issues were not resolved.
One would expect that the fact that they were able to scale through the primaries, the president intervened during the, the party chairman selection, convention during the primaries, they were able to scale through. Eventually, they selected, elected Tinubu, even though we know that it looked more like a consensus, which of course helped them save face and helped them resolve some of the grievances they had in some quarters. But right now, it's looking like if they don't go back to those issues and address the grievances of the people within the party, they might not survive this election.
Beyond 2023, let them even survive the next 6 months or even 1 week, because Adamo is doing the right thing, by calling for an emergency meeting, trying to persuade the lawmakers to stay and, listen to them. Again, it's all about dialogue. It's all about having, constructive debates. Let's talk about, issues bothering us. So let's see how the meeting pans out in terms of the results.
But then again, it goes to show how so unidealistic, I don't know if that's a word, but the fact that there are no ideologies when it comes to parties in Nigeria. So you offend me in this party, I move on to the next party. It's not as if this party goes with my ideologies or the way I see life, my perspective or philosophies of life. I'm just joining the party to meet my own personal interests.
And we derailed from what we had in time past, when during the First Republic you could easily tell, oh, okay, this is capitalism, this was socialism, like your NPC, your AG action group and all. Even within the action group, for example, before the whole Operation Wetia and all of that, where there was crisis between Obafemi Awolowo and his deputy Samuel Akintola. What you had at the time was, there was a time Akintola, due to the fallout, also pitched his tent with the NPC and was more, tilting towards the right in terms of capitalism.
Eventually, even those times when they had ideologies, there was still that item or atom of personal interest.
Yeah, you can't.
But let's look at this tilt to it. There's also this story still on the Punch newspaper talking about support for Obi like NSAS movement, and that's coming from Victor Ume. It's very interesting. They call themselves Obedience. And this is one movement that is looking like a third force, because you see a lot of galvanizing, the youths coming together saying you can't write exams. That's a joke anyways. You can't write exams if you don't get your PVC. You can't attend this event if you don't get your PVC.
Some churches are the
Catholic Church said you can't attend mass if you don't get your PVC. So it's looking interesting, because really we need to get involved. That voter apathy, my vote does not count. No, it has to stop. We now have to get involved, get your PVC. We know that INEC has now said that, well, they're not extending. 60 days? They're not extending. They said they're not extending.
They've agreed now to extend for another 60 days. The issue is this.
the what's it called now? Okoye. What's that his first name? Festus Okoye was speaking on TVC yesterday and said, well, there is no extension.
Well, based on
so there are two stories. No, there are two stories. There's one that says they've agreed to extend, but they've now debunked it. Well, that no, they're not extending.
Extension or
despite the court order.
Extension, I'm sure they would, if there's a court order that really files that explicitly, then they would have to comply. I mean,
yes, you know, the court order does not say you have to extend. The court order says you can't end it on June 30. So what they are saying now is that yes, June 30, when June 30 comes and we see that there are still people who are trying to get their PVCs, yes, we would consider them, but it doesn't mean we're extending for 60 days.
Let's even see how this happens. You know, it's one thing to say, okay, get your PVCs. It's another thing for people to turn out on the election day to vote. It is a prime example. How many people registered in terms of registered voters? How many were the accredited voters? How many people came out to vote? So these are the issues. You can have 1 million people, for example, you know, have their PVCs in a place like Bega or maybe Keja rather, and you know, maybe just 200,000 will turn out to vote on the day. So,
Swift Dry Cleaners Limited, professional dry cleaners, best in dry cleaning and laundry services that meets the needs of our consumers. Yeah, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Yeah, for clean wash and quick delivery. Yeah, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. For clean wash and quick delivery.
Swift Dry Cleaners. Clean wash, quick delivery.
Oh boy, winning you was so easy.
I just couldn't stand those your powerful shots. That's what happened.
Really? Let's go to my place for dinner.
This fufu is so nice.
It's true unripe plantain flour.
True unripe plantain flour is delicious.
Yes, true unripe plantain flour is what I serve my husband for swallows. It's easy to prepare, fortified with vitamin A, low in sugar and cholesterol, rich in fiber that helps the heart, builds and strengthens the bone, and his energy level is boosted.
Through unripe plantain flour, no additives, 100% natural, a product of Pali Agro Products Nigeria. Through unripe plantain flour, available in all leading stores nationwide.
True unripe plantain flour is 100% natural flour gotten from the processing of unripe plantain. It contains no addictive and has a net content of 500 grams. True unripe plantain flour contains vitamin A, B6 and C. It is gluten-free and rich in calcium. Consuming True unripe plantain flour helps to build and strengthen stronger bones and can be a great meal for diabetic patients. It decreases your chances of constipation as it has a high fiber content and provides you with a low-fat diet. Here are some steps to prepare your True unripe plantain flour. Firstly, mix True unripe plantain flour with hot water in a pot and gradually add water till you achieve desired thickness. Place over medium heat and turn very well for 4 to 5 minutes to get the right texture. Mold into a ball and place in a bowl and allow to cool. Serve with your choice of soup. through unripe plantain flour can be eaten with any variety of soup, be it your ofe oha, ofe onugbu, begiri, ewedu, or your miyan kuka. To get your through unripe plantain flour, contact us at 12 Olowera Isheri Road by First Welder Bus Stop off Omole Phase 2, Olowera, Lagos, Nigeria, or call 070-6663-8213 or 081-6397-4447. Distributors are needed nationwide.
The cosmetics and personal care industry globally generates an estimated annual turnover of around $400 billion over the last 20 years. In Nigeria, the beauty and personal care market could reach 3.2 billion euros by 2021, making Nigeria the rising star in sub-Saharan Africa. Products for hair and body care are predominant on the beauty market in sub-Saharan Africa, where face products and makeup remain marginal but have strong potential. Africa's largest economy clearly has a lot to offer. The Nigerian beauty and personal care market is currently worth more than $1.25 billion at retail and is forecast to reach more than $1.31 billion next year, according to Euromonitor International. It includes a wide range of products from skincare items to makeup and beauty items. These are items that predominantly appeal to women and men alike to purchase beauty products, even though men are interested in cosmetics. Nigeria has emerged as the investment destinations of choice to international firms aiming to capture the beauty and personal care market in the continent. The photography business is a very competitive industry. Every year, thousands of talented photo lovers consider turning their passion into a money-making business venture. Especially in a fiercely competitive marketplace like Nigeria, in which it is very easy for anyone to buy a digital camera and call themselves a professional photographer. According to some practitioners, a new photographer who wants a standard studio can start with a budget of 3.5 million naira. However, one can start with a lower budget of about 500,000 to 1 million naira depending on the tools and cost of rent. On the average, the cost of photography equipment is around 294,790 naira. However, the price ranges from around 41,000 naira to as high as 2.46 million naira. Nigeria has a population of over 200 million people with a vibrant movie industry that produces 50 movies per week, generating annual revenue of approximately $590 million from between 2016 and 2021, helping the photography industry as a whole, according to a recent research by the UN.
Are you a business owner looking for the right exposure to attract massive clients to your brand? The long search is definitely over. SME Hub allows you to showcase your products and services to a wide range of viewers and buyers nationwide. For further inquiries, please call Alero on 081-323-43262, or you can send an email to alero.ogudere@ibrandtv.com. Grow your brand and boost your business on SME Hub, live on iBrand TV, where business comes first.
Thanks for staying with us, and apologies for that break in transmission right there, but that's our offering when it comes to the newspaper review segment. It's now time to delve into the discussion of the day. Homeschooling is a progressive movement around the country and the world in which parents educate their children at home instead of sending them to a traditional public or private school. Families choose to homeschool for a variety of reasons, including dissatisfaction with the educational options available, different religious or educational philosophies, and the belief that children are not progressing within the traditional school structure. Now, joining us to discuss homeschooling is Salome Olaijide Buhari, a children educator, etiquette and manners consultant who joins us via Zoom. Salome Olajide Buhari, good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning once again. It's good to be here.
You. Thank you for joining us. So let's talk about homeschooling. What are some of the things to consider before considering homeschooling for your child?
Your desires. What do you want in your child? What do you want to achieve in your child? And how long do you have? How long do you have to homeschool your child? Do you want to do it for the first 5 years, or do you want to...
All right. So, okay, there seems to be some audio disconnect there. But looking at homeschooling, you know, during the COVID-19 pandemic, it was the in thing.
Yes.
Everyone around the world, you know, opted for the virtual learning option because there was no way for students to go to school to, you know, because there was no need for mixing and all of that, so that the...
Social distancing.
Yes, physical distancing. You know, so there was a lot of homeschooling and all of that. But, you know, this has its pros.
I think we have her back on the line.
Salome.
Yes, please.
Please, okay. You have the floor. Kindly shoot.
All right. I was saying that it depends on a lot of factors. For me, I desired it even before I got married, that I was going to homeschool my children. As an educator, I have seen the benefit that are inherent in homeschooling, and I wanted it. So for other parents that might be considering homeschooling, the options are: what are your desires for your child? What do you hope to achieve in the first 5 years of your child? You are not just going to homeschooling because it's an option that gives you a level of freedom. You are going to know the hitches and know how to go about. You need to know what you're doing if you choose the option of homeschooling. Are we together?
Yes, apparently it's not something you just jump on and say, I want to homeschool my child. You are an educator, and of course that gives you an advantage to do that. But what about parents who do not have that background of, you know, passing down knowledge when it comes to formal education to their children? What are the options available to them?
Well, I think a parent that is actually desirous of this homeschooling option will arm herself or himself with information that is necessary. For instance, I have had an opportunity to coach some parents in my homeschooling course, and I take them through the rubrics of teaching. Even teachers in schools, not all of them really know how children learn. So if you're a parent and you get exposed to the information that would make you know how to reach the heart and mind of your child, then homeschooling is an option for you. It's not a tedious task. It's not something that somebody that is not an educator cannot do. It's just knowing what to do at the right time and how to seize moments here and there to teach your child.
Okay, let me take you on this, that those who oppose homeschooling, saying that it doesn't encourage, you know, social development of the child because the child can mix with his or her peers, you know, like your traditional schooling would give the child. Do you subscribe to that as well? Or how do you grow, in the course of homeschooling, how do you grow the child to be able to mix and relate with peers when they're the only ones, you know, at home schooling?
Okay, there are different sides to this.
Okay.
It might be true for some families that there is a social impediment when it comes to homeschooling if the child is not exposed to other children. Okay? For my own case, it's not like that. I have opportunities where my child mixes up with other children.
Okay.
He's a very outgoing person, and compared to those comments about homeschooling, it's not true for us.
Okay,
but some families,
yes,
if you know that there are no opportunities to expose your child to other children, you can make a day in a week to go to a park where the child can play with other children, or go to a school. You can make an arrangement with a school where your child can mix with other children for social behavior and the like. So yes.
Okay, let me just further this discussion in that line. You said your child is outgoing, yes, but we know children, no two child rather is the same in that sense. That those that children who are extremely, introverts, if you want to call them that, at that young age, that, even as a parent who spends more time with them, you really have to like push them before they even open up. such children now, do you think homeschooling will still be the best for them in terms of that social impediments we're trying to take off?
I would also say it depends on the parents. If you know the type of child that you have, you would know the option to go for. And if you are sticking with homeschooling and your child has such a behavior of being withdrawn or being, or say the self-esteem is low, you will have other ways to work around it. Yeah.
So why is it important within the first 5 years, or is there a particular or peculiar reason to that time duration?
Yes. The first 5 years are critical in the brain development of the child. So yes, in as much as the brain still develops after 5, the major part of the brain develops between 0 and 5 years. So you want to make the most of that time to lay it's just like you're building a house. You're building a house, you have utmost focus on the foundation, because you know that the authenticity and the quality of the foundation is going to determine the longevity and duration or the quality of the entire building. So the first 5 years, you're laying plan for the success of the child entirely.
Okay,
right.
but with the current state of the economy and the fact that it's both father and mother that work to put bread on the table, it's no longer the system of the father brings bread to the table and then the mother keeps the home front. Whose responsibility is it to train these children or to homeschool them?
It's the both parents. Both parents are responsible. In my case, I and my husband are responsible for training our children. Well, it might be more on my part, but I'm also working. It depends on knowing what works for you. You might not have an 8 to 5 outline like the traditional school. You have a focus for the week. You know what you're learning this week, and then you look for moments where you can teach all of that. So it depends on who is available. There must be someone available. You cannot do homeschooling and say there's nobody available to teach the child. That would be a punishment. The other, yes.
Okay. In furtherance to what my colleague asked, looking at, as she said, you have a city like Lagos, for example. Even when the parents probably work half a day, they probably still have to get home, late due to traffic congestion. So they probably get home like 5, 6. They're tired from the day's, activities. How many hours can they now, train that child in that sense in terms of schooling? Because adequately for homeschooling, there should be a reasonable amount of time spent on the child per day. I don't know how many hours. You are the professional, so you probably help us with that.
Well, if the parents do not have time for the children, there's no need for homeschooling. Yes. If the two parents are going out to work every day and coming back in the evening, there's no need to homeschool. You're going to be punishing the child. You're not going to have time for that child. So a child that is being homeschooled would have at least a parent in the house. Even if the parent is working from home, then that is more flexible than the two parents going out and coming out in the evening and say they are homeschooling. That's not homeschooling. The presence is needed. Yes.
Okay. Talking about homeschooling and the physical presence especially, how many hours per day for homeschooling on the average?
It's here and there. Here and there. It's not like you're going to sit down and say we have 1 hour. Something else you are supposed to pay attention to, the attention span of your child. The attention span of your child will determine how long you can sit through a lesson. The trick here is you have a focus for the week. This and this is what you want to cover this week. So today I can have 15 minutes now for a short session. We go on to do another activity. We come back for another 10 minutes on another topic. We go out maybe to eat or to do something else, to play. We'll come back. It's just even in those play sessions during bath time, we emphasize what we're learning. So it's all a learning environment. Every moment in the home is a teachable moment. It's a seizable moment for education, for homeschooling.
Are there training platforms or places where parents can go to get some of this?
Connection. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Salome, Okay, I think there's a disconnect that we'll fix that and get back to the conversation. But I was going to talk about the training platforms, if there are training platforms for these parents, because not every parent understands the nitty-gritty of training a child, of, you know, a 1-year-old or 2-year-old child.
She's back.
Yes.
Yes, you know, Salome, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
As you were saying, these are the formative years of these children, and not every parent, you might even be able to pass the knowledge, but do you understand how these children pick up things, their peculiarities? You know, so you need some certain skills to get all of this. Are there training platforms? Are there places where parents can go to understand some of these intricacies?
During the COVID pandemic, I had an online course for parents tagged Bringing Out the Genius in Your Child through homeschooling. And I trained several parents on homeschooling. So if a parent is interested in homeschooling, I'm sure the parent is going to look out for ways to empower himself, to equip himself with the necessary know-hows of homeschooling. But so I would say that research, you have to do your research, you have to have a teachable heart to want to learn how to really do this. Because if you have the desire, then you should have something driving you to want to learn to do it. No man is an island. So in as much as you, even if you're a teacher, you still need to know how to go about teaching those things to those children. There are peculiar ways that children learn.
Yes, but you know, sorry to butt in, Salome. There's the psychology of the school environment. The fact that it's, you know, a working environment, all you know, they're agile, the energy is up, but you're at home. The room is just close by. The bed is right there. The kitchen is there. You want to eat. You want to just, you know, lavish and all of that. How do you maintain that discipline and drawing the line, saying, no, Junior, you're not going there. Sit down here. You know, I think it's easier when you come to the school, the four walls of a school environment. But in the home, how do you maintain that discipline?
Okay, I understand that. When it's time for learning, when it's time for that proper sit-up, we have a corner. We have a corner where we call school, although, of course, schooling is all over the house. But we have a corner where we call school. So we have a table, we have a chair, we have a shelf where we have his books and my books. So there is a level of discipline when it comes to doing our work. Now, on the area of discipline, there could come a time when he wants to do something else because he's at home.
Exactly.
And sometimes I allow him. If I notice boredom, if I notice that maybe he has stayed too long on that activity, so he's looking for a way to express himself, and it's fine. I give him a little time, and then we come back to it. The focus is to make sure the target for the day is met, right? So it's not one boring session of sit down for 40 minutes. It's a session of, even if it's 10 minutes, that time that you have you put in all the energy to make sure that he has understood that particular lesson for that period of time? So yes, discipline. The parent has to ensure discipline as regards homeschooling.
Okay, still talking about discipline. There are parents who have said they've tried every means possible, but their words are not listening to them. Probably due to the cordial relationship, they listen more to their teachers, if there's one, in terms of, your traditional four walls of the school. You've had parents even complain about that when they want to do homework, little things like homework. Now, for homeschooling, parents that are struggling in that sense to really have a grasp of their kids, probably due to the cordial relationship, the child isn't just listening to mom and all of that. How do you, what measures do you think should be put in place to address that? Did you get my question? I think the network is messing up there. But it's quite interesting, even for children, those who attend the traditional schools, they come back home and homework, it's like they're not listening to their parents. It's mommy or it's daddy.
And some of them do the homework because they know that they have to face their teacher the next day.
So sometimes the parents even have to get, is she there? Hello?
No, she's not.
Oh, okay. Sometimes parents even have to get lesson teachers.
Yes, you are, Salome. Can you hear us?
The network isn't friendly, but you know, sometimes parents have to get lesson teachers just for that reason.
Exactly.
Not because they don't have time, but they just know, oh, my
familiarity.
You know, familiarity and all. So I would really like her to, you know, tell us how to address that as well, because for homeschooling, you're spending more time with the child. If the child is not listening, you know, you make use of the carrot and stick approach. It's still not working. Something has to work.
And then you don't want to use corporal punishment.
Salome, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Oh,
Can you hear
okay.
me?
Yes, I can now. My question is this: for children who, you know, probably due to the cordial relationship between them and their parents, find it difficult to listen to their parents. How do parents in that, you know, situation, instill discipline? What measures will they take to ensure that discipline is enacted within homeschooling?
Okay, I'll say what works for me, right?
Yep.
I know when I have to be firm as regards a decision.
Okay.
You can be firm without shouting. You can be firm without beating or without corporal punishment. There's a way you can get across to the child. In parenting, there's what we call discipline strategies. You need to know the strategy that works for your child. For some, it is withdrawing a reward or withdrawing something that the child is supposed to enjoy. Okay, if you don't do this, you're not going to do this. Sometimes I have some apps. I have a reading app on my phone called Reading Eggs, and my son loves it a lot. I have another educational app, Adapted Minds. So I tell him, if you do not finish this before 12 o'clock, there's no Adapted Mind for you today. There's no Reading Eggs for you today. And you see him asking, what am I learning today? What am I doing today? So that he can get time with his Reading Eggs and with his Adapted Mind. So it depends on what works for the child. But the basic parenting tool for discipline is connection. If you connect with a child, yes. If you connect with a child, you know how to get across to the child, even when the child is being lazy or yes.
You sound like you don't really buy the idea of corporal punishment, but it's what's obtainable in some schools. Of course, we know that it's been eradicated in some private schools, but some schools still adopt corporal punishment. What's your take on that?
I think that if we have other ways to go about getting the child to do what we want them to do, corporal punishment is not an option. Okay? Yes, that's what I think, that if we go about discipline actually means to teach and reteach and reteach. So if a parent has mastered the skill of discipline, the corporal punishment is like stress, so to say. Okay? But some parents think that it's shortcut. It's actually not a shortcut, because you are affecting the psychology of that child. All right, so it might get to a point where you have to. Okay, you want to say something?
Yes, looking at the Nigerian situation, the Nigerian factor, we know there's a power situation where, you know, there's no power for hours and a lot of houses are thrown in the dark. There's the issue of network. Of course, you just experienced the network issue on the Zoom, via the Zoom call. But let's look at all of those factors. The fact that there is the Nigerian system, which is not balanced when it comes to getting perfect, you know, economy, power. A lot of homes still, you know, run on gens and all of that. How expensive is homeschooling in terms of getting all of these factors in place? Or how affordable?
Homeschooling is more affordable than the conventional school. Yeah. Some parents can even go into it just because they want to cut down costs. But if they go into it and do not know what they are doing, then it's not right for the child. But homeschooling is cheaper. It's less expensive than the traditional school.
But do those factors come into play? Technology, power, and all of that?
Not majorly, because most of the activities we do are hands-on activities.
Okay.
If, for example, we have today living things, if our topic is living things, we know that we are taking a walk outside to go and check out non-living things and living things. And my son loves that a lot. So we have varieties on our learning approaches. The only time we have need for the TV is when I have a particular topic I need to play a video on. and then we need it. If there's no power,
Salome,
yes.
let's take a breather now. The conversation will continue after this break. Please stay with us.
All right. All right.
Are you a business owner looking for the right exposure to attract massive clients to your brand? The long search is definitely over. SME Hub allows you showcase your products and services to a wide range of viewers and buyers nationwide. For further inquiries, please call Alero on 081-323-43262, or you can send an email to alero.ogudere@ibrandtv.com. Grow your brand and boost your business on SME Hub, live on iBrand TV, where business comes first.
The future of cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrencies continue to draw a lot of attention from investors, entrepreneurs, regulators, and the general public. Many recent public discussions of cryptocurrencies have been triggered by the substantial changes in their prices, claims that the market for cryptocurrencies is a bubble without any fundamental value, and also concerns about evasion of regulatory and legal oversight. These concerns have led to calls for increased regulation or even a total ban. Further debates concern inter alia, the classification of cryptocurrencies as commodities, money, or something else, the potential development of cryptocurrency derivatives and of credit contracts in cryptocurrency, the use of initial coin offerings (ICO), employing cryptocurrency technology to finance startup initiatives, and the issue of digital currencies by central banks employing cryptocurrency technologies. Market size and opportunities. The total market capitalization of the 100 largest cryptocurrencies is reported to exceed the equivalent of 330 billion euros globally by early 2018. The total market capitalization of all cryptocurrencies together in that period peaked at an even higher $728 billion, dropping just 3 weeks later to approximately 360 billion euros.
All right, we're still talking about homeschooling, and Salome joins us again to continue the conversation. Of course, we're looking at the first 5 years, which are the formative years of children, and the importance of homeschooling at that stage. Thank you for joining us again, Salome.
You're welcome.
All right, so we were talking about how the Nigerian factor comes into play, but you said it doesn't come into play at all when it comes to homeschooling. But let's also talk about these children, how they mix or how they eventually get to evolve or go into the outside world after, you know, this 5 years. How easy is it for them?
It's quite easy. I have, I'll speak for myself. I have a children's club, by the way.
Okay.
Children's club. And those meetings.
All right, Salome would join us again. But she was talking about a club that she has. Perhaps that's where the children get to mix and get, you know.
Because it's one thing to, you know, homeschool a child, and the child is, you know, smart, intellectual, and all. It's another thing for that social distance to be there. You find kids that withdraw, and others are playing that, you know, active, and the child is there not because the child is sick, but the child is just probably not used to exactly. So and you, when you know, I mean, a child is growing, you want a robust development on all fronts. That there has to be a balance. So as much as the intellectual academic aspect is important, so also the social aspect. I think she's back.
Salome.
Yes, please. Can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, we're talking about your
club.
Yes, I have a club, Bible Manners and Worship Children's Club, and I pay specific attention to how my child relates with other children.
Okay,
it's actually fantastic that his social behavior is quite high for a child that is homeschooled. There is a probability that homeschooled children are withdrawn, but the wisdom for parents who are involved in homeschooling is to expose their children to activities and to environments where their children get to mix up with others on a weekly basis.
Okay.
So you know what you're in for, you know the pros and the cons, so that you are better advised on how to go about it.
Okay, talk to us about some of the tools you use in this homeschooling.
Okay. Aside it depends on the particular topic. So in a particular season, we could be using videos created by other content creators.
Okay.
In another season, we could be can go out to see nature. That might be a tool for us. But there's a particular tool that I use for my children. It's a new product from me, an educational product for children. It's called the Foundational Skill Set for Kids.
Okay.
Foundational skill set for kids. On it is inscribed, your brain can grow. This is a deliberate statement from me to children, saying that whatever they feed their neurons is what they get. There's a lot of explanation in the manual, and so I'll just take you through the contents of it. It's quite colorful for children so that it attracts them. This is a toolkit. This is a game board. This is a game board.
Looks like the Scrabble. Salome. Okay. Well, it's very colorful.
Quite impressive as well, because my question, you know, to her, even before you asked the tools, was that how does she create that school environment, you know, that learning atmosphere? Because again, we've talked about.
She said she has a corner in the house.
You know, it's one thing to have a corner. You know, I mean, sometimes in schools you have what they call naughty children's corner. You know, when a child misbehaves, you go and stand there for maybe 5 minutes. So it's one thing to have a corner, but when you have, I'm just looking at the home as that learning environment. How, you know, she creates that conducive environment that the kid can learn and understand that, oh, though I'm home, I'm still in school in that sense. Salome,
yes,
are you there?
something to say as regards that. Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. You have the floor.
What do you call a learning environment?
Well, traditionally,
is it the desk and the chair approach?
Not really. Conventionally, you know, you have various, you know, learning tags on the walls pegged and all of that. So I really wanted to ask how you try to, you know, create that as well at home. I know you talked about having the school corner, but are there also, you know, those learning tags?
Apart from the school corner, which is in our dining session, close to the dining session is the school corner, but their room particularly has decorations on the wall, and it's quite instructive because these decorations are tied towards what they're learning.
Okay.
The days of the week in English and in French, the letters of the alphabet, numbers and Roman numerals. We have a musical note from brief, semi-brief, crochet, and all of that. You know, so they are on their wall, very colorful. Actually, my last son, he's 2 years plus. When he wakes up, that's the first thing he does. He just starts, letter A sounds A, letter B sounds B. Nobody even knows that he's up yet, but he's there already learning.
Wow,
That's learning environment.
That's great.
In the kitchen, we have our learning moments. When I'm doing something in the kitchen, if a particular topic is addition, I can tell him to go and count those onions there, add them to those. What do you have? That's teaching.
That's great.
That's a learning environment. So apart from the sitting down with the desk and the chair, other moments around the house are teachable moments. Let's take that traditional method of I have to sit down straight up and say that this is the only time that I can learn. Research has shown that it is through play that children learn most. So if you can find activities that get children to play, it helps them learn. Are we together? Am I on?
Yes, so do they also learn poems and songs and rhymes like we did back then?
Yes. Oh yes, we do. That's phonemic awareness. And a child that has a high phonemic awareness is a great reader. You're setting the child up for success. So we have rhymes. Actually, we have songs that start the day when it's time, when they've had their bath and they're ready for school. There's a song we use to start the day, and then we move on to our Bible sessions. Now, that's something that I'm very particular about that I cannot get with the traditional homeschool. My child is 5. He just clocked 5, and he knows more than 10 different chapters of the Bible. You can tell him to recite Psalm 23, to recite it from the beginning to the end. Tell him to recite Psalm 121, Psalm 127, Ecclesiastes 3. He can just stay and read out the scriptures for you. That's it's a basic part of my homeschooling I don't take for granted, because I know what I'm using that to deck him with wisdom. I won't get that in a traditional homeschool.
So tell us how the board, how it works.
Okay. Thank you very much for redirecting me to this. So this is the...
Okay, yes, we can see the board being displayed, but we've lost audio connection with Salome. But it's interesting, the fact that it's colorful great. And, you know, Scrabble is one game I love so much.
I mean, I was privileged to, you know, learn Scrabble at 8.
Oh, she's back.
Yes, and then... Did I go up?
Yes, you did.
Yes, you did.
So you might want to do a recap.
All right. I said these parts are for forming short words. 2-letter words, 3-letter words, 4-letter words. This part's for financial literacy. We have the kings of the money market. And then this part is used for different games as well. So we have different, these are the tiles. These, I don't know if you can see this clearly.
Yes, we can.
Yes, these are the tiles. They place these on the square boxes of the game. There is not enough space here for me to do that. I could send in pictures later, but this is it. If a child wants to form a particular letter, so he just goes and puts these together on the board. All right, so we use this as a teaching aid for children, for parents. Teaching aid for parents, teaching aid for teachers. But for children, it's a learning and fun tool. So if we have capital letters, small letters, we have Roman numerals, we have numbers, we have colors and shapes. But the main catch is the graphemes. The graphemes are the combination of letters that form sounds, and phonics works by sound. So the main catch is the phonics part that helps children to learn to read, to make learning to read fun.
I see some combination of letters like the double E, the AI, and all of that. What do they mean?
Yeah.
Sounds.
They are graphemes. Like AR is a grapheme for the sound R.
Okay.
Yes, and this is a single grapheme. W. Letter W sounds W. So we have letter F sounds, and these are the foundational skills that children need. In a traditional school, I have compared my son with others. He's doing much better than others that go to traditional schools. I'm not bringing down the importance of traditional schools. I'm just saying that if a parent has the time and knows what they're doing, they are better advantaged than children that grow.
So how do you assess him? Do you have tests, examinations? How does it take them seriously?
Now, I do not have a particular day and I say this today is a day of exam and a day of test. I test him every day. Okay. As soon as we're done with the topic, I test him in different in different ways. Thank you. So another evil.
All right. Because I'm wondering how do you set exams? Okay.
Am I on?
Yes, you are. Go ahead, please.
Yes. I said
the network is messing up. I like the way, you know, the game is. For Scrabble, it's just letters. But she has included sound in it.
Sounds,
I did not know sound until I went to school and I had to study, you know, phonetics and
we were taught A, B, C, D, E, F,
exactly.
E, F, G, H, I, J, K. Unlike this generation, they have been taught the sounds.
You know, pronunciations. I saw diphthongs there. You know, it's quite impressive, and you can see that from the game. The child was able to form day in terms of the transcription. So it's quite impressive. I think you know, that game itself is also something that those who are involved in homeschooling should, you know, incorporate into their learning, because it will help the child not just learn words, but it will also learn the child in terms of help the child in terms of pronunciation. And I think that's a very good way to, you know, help a child or train a
Salome,
child.
are you back?
Yes, I am.
Okay, please go ahead. Yes.
All right. So I was saying that one of the disadvantages of the traditional schooling system is the teaching to test. Teaching to test. You don't teach for understanding, you teach to test. So when it's time for tests and the child doesn't perform according to the test, you rate the child low. Meanwhile, education is not supposed to be like that. If you go to countries like Finland that is really high in education, you would see that they do not teach to test, especially for the first 5 years. Expose the child to different activities. Trigger his interest. Discover him. What is he good at? What is he inclined to? What does he love? A child that has been deprived the opportunity to play, a child that has been deprived the opportunity to express himself in different activities will be put to test, and those other areas will not be developed.
All right.
I have several examples. A child that was considered Olodo because she couldn't cram like other children in the school. I told the parents, leave me with her. Just give us some time every week. I didn't take I didn't even charge. I just wanted to help the child because I saw how withdrawn she was anytime it came to reading or spelling, dictation. Her younger brother was far better. Her younger brother could spell and do other things, but she couldn't. And anytime it came to things like that, she withdrew. So I took time out with her every week. I was giving her at least 30 minutes or 1 hour of my time. I found out that she could draw. She was so good at drawing. She was so good at telling stories. So I told her, your stories are going to go all over the world, but you need to know how to read. And I can make it fun for you. And we had to start with letter A sounds R. She was 7.
Okay, so from the sound of it, you homeschool other children too. So it's not just about your own children. But how far can a parent go in homeschooling other children?
Well, it's not like I homeschool other children. I help parents with information, relevant information and resources. For this child, I had to visit the family when she was back from school. So it's related, but I just help out when I see the dividends, the benefits that homeschooling gives. Okay, so there's a lot more that we can. Please go ahead.
So it's not as if parents should also, you know, bring in other children to homeschool them with their own children.
It depends on parents. Depends on what you want to achieve. It depends on what's on your mind. Okay, for me, I want to raise my children to a point where I say, oh, I have laid the foundation for them. If I can, I would like to homeschool till secondary school. But that's not the plan. That's not the plan for now. My husband has not permitted that yet. But if I can, I would love to homeschool because I've seen the benefit. I've seen children that were homeschooled till secondary school. They always come out better than those that go to the traditional school.
All right, thank you so much, Salome Olajide Buhari. That's a fine place to live. Thank you for your time on iBrand Daybreak.
All right, thank you very much for having me.
All right,
it was good being here.
Have a great day. Okay, we've been speaking with Salome Olajide Buhari. She is a children's educator and soft skill coach, talking to us about the importance of homeschooling from the ages of within the first 5 years. We'll take a break now. When we come back, the conversation continues. Don't go anywhere.
Most people don't understand the magic of a perfect skin, the allure of a well-pampered skin. We bounce from skincare products to skincare products, from spa to spa. Looking for that ideal solution. I found the solution. And it's Blemiville Skincare and Spa. My name is Neil, and I'm proud to be a part of the Blemiville family.
Swift Dry Cleaners Limited, professional dry cleaners, best in dry cleaning and laundry services that meets the needs of our consumers. Yeah, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Yeah, for clean wash and quick delivery. Yeah, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. For clean wash and quick delivery.
Swift Dry Cleaners. Clean wash, quick delivery.
The cosmetics and personal care industry globally generates an estimated annual turnover of around $400 billion over the last 20 years. In Nigeria, the beauty and personal care market could reach 3.2 billion euros by 2021, making Nigeria the rising star in sub-Saharan Africa. Products for hair and body care are predominant on the beauty market in sub-Saharan Africa, where face products and makeup remain marginal but have strong potential. Africa's largest economy clearly has a lot to offer. The Nigerian beauty and personal care market is currently worth more than $1.25 billion, at retail and is forecast to reach more than $1.31 billion next year, according to Euromonitor International. This includes a wide range of products from skincare items to makeup and beauty items. These are items that predominantly appeal to women and men alike to purchase beauty products, even though men are interested in cosmetics. Nigeria has emerged as the investment destinations of choice to international firms aiming to capture the beauty and personal care market in the continent. The photography business is a very competitive industry. Every year, thousands of talented photo lovers consider turning their passion into a money-making business venture. Especially in a fiercely competitive marketplace like Nigeria, in which it is very easy for anyone to buy a digital camera and call themselves a professional photographer. According to some practitioners, a new photographer who wants a standard studio can start with a budget of 3.5 million naira. However, one can start with a lower budget of about 500,000 to 1 million naira depending on the tools and cost of rent. On the average, the cost of photography equipment is around 294,790 naira. However, the price ranges from around 41,000 naira to as high as 2.46 million naira. Nigeria has a population of over 200 million people with a vibrant movie industry that produces 50 movies per week, generating annual revenue of approximately $590 million from between 2016 and 2021, helping the photography industry as a whole, according to a recent research by the UN.
Are you a business owner looking for the right exposure to attract massive clients to your brand? The long search is definitely over. SME Hub allows you to showcase your products and services to a wide range of viewers and buyers nationwide. For further inquiries, please call Alero on 081-323-43262, or you can send an email to alero.ogudere@ibrandtv.com. Grow your brand and boost your business on SME Hub, live on iBrand TV, where business comes first.
Thanks for staying with us. It's still iBrand Daybreak, and it's time to keep you abreast of what's happening in the world of sports. We start with the world of football, where Diego Maradona's death has definitely brought about charges to 8 medical personnel, talking about the medical staff that tended to the footballing icon just before his death. A judge has ordered a homicide culpable trial for all 8 medical personnel involved in his treatment just before his death, after a medical panel of 20 experts found the team culpable of negligence in their treatment of the football legend, and all 8, also including his neurosurgeon and personal doctor Leopoldo Luque, will also stand trial alongside 2 nurses, 2 doctors, a psychologist, a physician, among others. A date has not yet been set for the trial of the 8 medical staff, but according to the Penal Code of Argentina, if found guilty, they stand to face 8 to 25 years imprisonment. Maradona died of heart attack November 2020 at the age of 60. Moving away from there now, still talking about sports, but this time around in the world of tennis, it's all about the controversial decision of the ATP to make trials when it comes to on-court coaching. The latest outburst is from Nick Kyrgios, the Australian maverick, who has slammed the decision of the ATP to allow on-court coaching, saying that it takes away the uniqueness of the sport, as tennis is the only sport where you do not get coached officially by your coaches during a tournament. So Kyrgios is saying that the decision to permit on-court coaching after Wimbledon until the end of this year is not a good one for the sport. But that will go ahead, and let's see how it pans out for the players as well. That those who favor, who are in support rather of it, and that those who are against it just like Nick Kyrgios. We'll wrap up sports update at this time with a bit of swimming, and it's all about Anita Alvarez, U.S. artistic swimmer who collapsed right there in the pool, fainted in the pool, and had to be rescued by her coach, Andres Fontes, who had to pick her up from the bottom of the pool. Luckily enough, she survived, and the U.S. swim team has released a statement saying she's okay, her vitals are good, and it's just a matter of pushing her body to the limits, and that's what brought about fainting right there in the pool. This isn't the first time Anita Alvarez will be fainting in the pool. Last year during the Olympic qualifier in Barcelona, she also fainted and had to be rescued by a coach as well. This time around, it's happening at the World Aquatics Championship. Thankfully, the 25-year-old is doing well. The incident happened during the solo event where she finished 7th. That's about it in the world of sports. It's time to keep you abreast of how Nigerians are reacting to social trends within the social space. And Choma Amarigbolam is sitting by.
Good morning, Samson.
Hello, Chioma.
Just before, I get to you, because you're looking dashing, by the way, let's just go on this quick break. We'll be right back. So we'll be right back.
Swift Dry Cleaners Limited, professional dry cleaners, best in dry cleaning and laundry services that meets the needs of our consumers. Yeah, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Yeah, for clean wash and quick delivery. Yeah, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. For clean wash and quick delivery.
Swift Dry Cleaners. Clean wash, quick delivery.
Most people don't understand the magic of a perfect skin, the allure of a well-pampered skin. We bounce from skincare products to skincare products, from spa to spa. Looking for that ideal solution. I found the solution. And it's Blemiville Skincare and Spa. My name is Neil, and I'm proud to be a part of the Blemiville family.
Thanks for staying with us. It's now time to delve into social media buzz. And as I said earlier, Choma Amarigbolam is here with us. Choma, good morning.
Good morning, Samson.
Good morning to you.
Ogunoli. How do you do?
How do you do?
I'm very well, thank you. All right, so moving straight to our first story. A disturbing video was posted on Twitter showing a girl crying while bleeding from her nose. According to the recording and reports, it was gathered that the girl slept, on some hair extensions in her aunt's shop at Okere Market Road, Warri, and her aunt angrily punched her in the nose, which led to the bleeding. The sight of the crying girl, the crying and bleeding child, drew attention from passers-by who came to her aid. Well,
she didn't stay with you, man.
I said I just back. The girl was sleeping on the chair. Next thing, and I.
Oh my God!
Eh? Wash her face, wash her face. I didn't want to arrest.
And now taking some comments, Clinton says, this stuff is not talked about enough. God help me, I want to raise awareness for house help molestation, and child abuse. And Erudite says, don't jump into conclusion. You that have siblings at times, they get on your nerves. Kids and teens nowadays are stubborn, no respect for morals. For someone to beat her like that, she has been doing something wrong for a long time. Queensland girl would have been accused if we not see the video. And Josephine replied the last commenter saying, one blow made someone bleed that much, and you think it could be her stubbornness. So Samson Obonali, what do you have to say about this?
I don't find it funny.
The guy is a joke.
The fact that Erudite or whatever his name was,
a huge joke,
was saying that the child was stubborn, that was why she was beaten up that way. I think there's a disconnect. Like he's lost touch with reality or lost touch with his humanity. Because why would you say that a child's stubbornness would warrant that kind of beating? Look at how that child was bleeding.
She doesn't even look like she's up to 10.
It's just that in Nigeria, the child rights works in this country, except it's maybe a rich man fighting a poor man. That's when the laws work. We have a child rights law, for crying out loud, that should protect these children. So the fact that the child is not yours doesn't give you the right to treat her that way. You're even her aunt. You're supposed to protect her. Really, I don't know.
It's ridiculous, really. You know, that nose was broken. You see that in sports like boxing, not physically. When you say you beat a child, what sort of beating is that? Apparently, I don't want to believe that was a slap. That was a punch.
She punched the child.
And what sort of, punishment can you mete out to a child
so they're saying the child was stubborn. If someone like Anthony Joshua was stubborn enough to sleep on the hair, would she punch Anthony Joshua? Because really, we try to exercise powers in places where we feel like we're stronger. Just like men who beat their wives because they feel that they're stronger than the women. If you were married to a boxer, would you try that?
Exactly.
Or if the child was someone who was able to beat you up, would you try that? These are questions we need to answer.
It's ridiculous. This is child abuse. You can't paint it anyway. You know, there are no gray areas to this. Child abuse, it's assault. Unfortunately, the child, you know, seemingly doesn't have a legal representative or the legal backing to push for this. It's one thing to beat a child with probably, you know, cane or belt,
which is wrong in itself.
You know, it's another thing to punch a child. I don't think that child is up to 10. The fact that she punched the child is physical assault, whatever name you want to call it, domestic violence, whatever it is you want to call it, that is assault, and she should be charged for it. Unfortunately, the child may not get that legal justice that she deserves. I hope the child is fine. I mean, for a child to bleed profusely like that from the nose, exactly, no. Or probably an orphan who is living with an aunt and all that. You know the way these stories are sometimes. I hope that the child gets the necessary medical care, because for a little child to bleed profusely like that from the nose, it wasn't just a drip. It continued flowing. It shows you that, I mean, the nose is broken.
And it's probably not the first time she's doing that to the child.
So the bridge of the nose, the child probably have difficulties breathing. There's a whole lot of medical perspective to it without trying to, you know, exaggerate. But that child needs proper medical care. And I really hope that there are people who can, you know, take up this case and ensure that she gets the justice she deserves.
Oh, well, still on the children, a man sent a group of children begging by the roadside a message to deliver to their parents. Let's see the video and hear for ourselves.
Compalo. Mona Tere say, make them again. Make them not born again. For this stuff I want to do,
carry the newborn baby, maybe 6 months, they go put her for street. Tell mommy, not the we don't time for this offer.
Yeah, that's how it is.
You dey hear me? You dey laugh. Go ask. Tell your mommy say this also don't tire one. Say mommy not if you not reach us.
And Ernest says, beggars too many, reach Edo State, you go hail. Truth Comrade says, people when no get house, you say palo. And now Sugar Mommy says, this is the best. If people stop giving them, they would stop begging. Now in the video, you know, we had the guy telling the children to go home and tell their parents to stop, you know, giving birth. You know, because they're suffering a lot. You know, they're on the streets begging. They would give birth and then just throw them out to the streets. You know. So what do you have to say about this?
Apparently, I mean, why have a child when you can't even adequately take care of the child? Before the process of, you know, bringing a child into the world, there should be adequate preparations in terms of, you know, how you want to train the child, how you want to care for the child, feeding inclusive, clothing inclusive, shelter and all of that. So you don't just have children. And it's quite unfortunate that these set of people, more often than not, you see them having lots of children. I mean, you go on the streets of Lagos or wherever you are, you probably see a woman with 4 kids, one at the back, and you're trying to figure out the age difference, you know, between the children. Probably 1 year and thereabouts. It's not even up to 2 sometimes, based on what you can see in terms of physical appearance. So there's a place of, you know, helping people like this, but the parents also need to, you know, hold themselves accountable. If you know the strength you have financially is to take care of just 2 children, have those 2 children, the more blessed you are, you can have more kids. But when you know you can barely even cater for a child and you have 4, it's ridiculous that you're now, you know, throwing those kids out there to beg for alms just for, you know, the family to live or survive. Now the child is again, it's another form of child abuse that we do not talk about enough, because the child is abused, exposed rather to physical, you know, dangers. You have the issue of sexual assaults as well as a possibility. If you know, for the girl child especially, there's also the place of the child being, you know, mentally or even psychologically, you know, exposed to in all of these. So
and you're being
I
kept
think
out of school as well.
Out of school, there's a whole lot to it. You know, it has a multi-layers. I really hope that we parents, you know, become more accountable and responsible in how they bring children to the world. Now, I would, you know, again, that those would say, oh, maybe it was extreme to tell them, go back and tell your parents this. If you want to help and just move on. But again, the message has to be passed that when parents can't just keep producing children or bringing children to the world without adequate plans to take care of them. The world is large enough in terms of numbers, and we have so many people below the poverty line.
Well, I think it's about time we readdressed or revisited this issue of procreation, the motive behind procreation. So, yes, gone are those days where our parents just wanted to have, like, they say you want to give birth to children so that when they've retired, the children can take care of them, and then so they give birth to retirement benefits or retirement plan. Gone are those days. These days, people now plan. They're intentional about it. So those days, our parents, you know, thought that the minimum of 4, you know, you have to have like 6, 7, 12, a football team and all of that. But now, the mentality is changing. People are now more enlightened that, look at the economic situation in Nigeria. How much is cooking gas? Look at the cost of transportation and the fuel scarcity and all of that. You have to begin to factor all these things in. So you don't just want to throw children out there who you cannot cater to, children who you cannot educate, children who you can't feed properly, and then they're just out there. And the funniest thing is, you know, we've had this Almajiri system with us, right, for a very long time. But it looks like it's not just about the Almajiri system now. We now have corporate beggars. Not just about the children now. We now have some adults who also beg in a way that, oh, I need 15 naira to balance my transport fare and all of that. Those same people would have several children. So they don't even have plan for their own selves. They can't feed themselves properly, and then they are procreating, having several children who they cannot cater to. So we have to begin to reanalyze, revisit, and so I don't blame countries like China, India. You know, Canada had it to a point where they are now underpopulated, so they're not looking for people to now come in. I know that's the extreme, but sometimes we need to take extreme actions, decisions. The president there was a time the president was saying they wanted to put a benchmark to the number of children that parents give. But of course, how effective would that be in a country like Nigeria?
But it's just ridiculous. I really hope that, people who are not up to that standard they want to be in life in terms of standard of living, I really hope that they are mindful of apologies for that break in transmission rather. So Choma, yes. All
right, so just concluding the story, yeah? So the video we just saw might be funny, but this guy has said the truth. People need to start deliberately controlling their birth rates and be sure that they can adequately, take care of them. As a married person, looking at your financial capacity, you should be able to say how many children, you can comfortably take care of, even if it's only one. You understand? And this is why I am of the opinion that people should not get married broke. Before getting married, ensure you can comfortably take care of yourself, your partner and child, and by comfortably, I mean the provision of basic necessities like food, shelter, clothing, and education, so that you don't constitute a nuisance by giving birth to children you can't take care of, and at the end of the day, subjecting them to poverty, suffering, thuggery, among others. Decide wisely. And it's a wrap on entertainment on social media buzz. I still remain Chioma Amariwula. I'm back to you, Samson and Omobolande.
Well, thank you, Chioma. Although I have to butt in there. The fact that you said that people should not get married broke. Anything can happen. You can get married and something just happens. You lose your job and all of that. But it's
life happens. As
life happens. But in the end, you have to have plans. So I understand where you're coming from. Okay, let's wrap it up with a quote of the day. Lolly Daskal says, when you stop chasing the wrong things, you give the right things a chance to catch you. So I'm going to tie that to this 24-hour thingy. We all have 24 hours. So, but some people will say, oh, I'm too busy, I don't have time. Maybe you need to check your schedule. There are some things that are taking your time that shouldn't be. When you take out those unnecessary things, you see that you have more time, focus to the important things, and then you're able to achieve your goals. Do you have anything to say about
that? You're on point.
Apt. Pinpoint.
All right, we'll wrap it up on that note. Thank you so much for being a part of iBrand Daybreak. My name is Omobolanle Adeshi. I'll see you next time. Have a great day.
And I am Chioma Amariwula. Do enjoy the rest of the day.
Do have a great day. I'm Samson Olede.
Dry Cleaners Limited. Professional dry cleaners. Best in dry cleaning and laundry services that meets the needs of our consumers. Yeah, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Yeah. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Yeah, for clean wash and quick delivery. Yeah, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. For clean wash and quick delivery. Ooh.
Swift Dry Cleaners. Clean wash, quick delivery.
Oh boy, winning you was so easy.
I just couldn't stand those your powerful shots. That's what happened.
Really? Let's go to my place for dinner.
This fufu is so nice.
It's true unripe plantain flour.
True unripe plantain flour is delicious.
Yes, true unripe plantain flour is what I serve my husband for swallows. It's easy to prepare, fortified with vitamin A, low in sugar and cholesterol, rich in fiber that helps the heart, builds and strengthens the bone, and his energy level is boosted.
Through unripe plantain flour, no additives, 100% natural, a product of Pali Agro Products Nigeria. Through unripe plantain flour, available in all leading stores nationwide.
True unripe plantain flour is 100% natural flour gotten from the processing of unripe plantain. It contains no addictive and has a net content of 500 grams. True unripe plantain flour contains vitamin